Good morning all, how are we? Everyone good? I'm far louder than you are. It is early, we're going to have some fun to kick things off, so don't worry too much. We're going to talk about the golden ticket. Who in here has seen Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory? Show of hands. So the 1971 version, Mel Stewart, it's got Gene Wilder in it. Who's seen the 2005 version, Johnny Depp? It's Tim Burton. Okay, pretty good show. So for everyone who hasn't, apologies, there's going to be lots of spoilers in this, okay? But if you haven't seen it, frankly, where have you been? So you should have done. So we're going to talk about the golden ticket. For those of you that don't know the story, Willy Wonka has a chocolate factory, and he's a very secretive and enigmatic character, and he hides 5 golden tickets around the world within chocolate bars that then children try to find, and the prize is incredible. They can win a lifetime supply of chocolate. It's their dreams come true. They might even end up with the chocolate factory themselves. So in itself, it's a very good marketing campaign. But that's not really why we're here. So what does the golden ticket mean for you guys in the context of Marcomms predictions? It's pretty simple, okay? So here we're gonna get our crystal ball out. I'm gonna walk over here. It's quite a big stage. It's quite nerve-wracking. So we're gonna get our crystal ball out, and that's gonna give us some predictions. And then very simply, you're gonna be able to orient your business, your people, your campaigns, change your North Star for next year, and that will give you the golden ticket. Marketing success, trips to Cannes, lots of pay rises. So simple and very good. Everyone clear? Okay. We have a bit of a problem, though. And so, Austin, thank you for asking me up here to give these predictions. I'm a strategy lead at an agency. I can see your thinking. Problem is, I'm terrible at them. Like, really bad. Not just awful, but I'm fundamentally incapable of making good predictions, okay? I'm irrational. I'm quite unpredictable sometimes. I do get quite emotional. I'm totally biased. I like things I like. Even as all of us, really, we're neophytes. We like new things, okay? And I'm hugely sentimental. So I think you can already see I'm quite nostalgic about a film that came out even before I was born. So in case you hadn't worked it out yet, I'm human, okay? And that makes me bad at predictions. Austin, sorry to break it to you now, thanks for the opportunity, but you'd have been much better off asking a computer. Because computers are better at this kind of stuff. They can weigh up loads of historical data accurately, fairly, and then they can make predictions based on that, and they can model to see what the future looks like based on the past. So we're going to start now. We're going to ask a computer to give us the location of the golden tickets.
And as time passes, the men who seek them become more and more desperate.
Gentlemen, I know how anxious you've all been during these last few days, but now I think I can safely say that your time and money have been well spent. We're about to witness the greatest miracle of the machine age. Based on the revolutionary Computonian law of probability, this machine will tell us the precise location of the 3 remaining golden tickets. It says, I won't tell, that would be cheating. I am now telling the computer that if it will tell me the correct answer, I will gladly share with it the grand prize. He says, what would a computer do with a lifetime supply of chocolate? I am now telling the computer exactly what he can do with a lifetime supply of chocolate.
Okay, so AI, as we imagined it back in 1971 in the Mel Stewart film, it's actually pretty good because it's achieved some level of sentience in the sense that it has morals and ethics, and it won't cheat and it won't get involved in this. We've maybe not got that far yet, but in terms of talking to a computer, things have got a lot easier. So there you can see our science boff, he's punching numbers into this old Siemens computer system. And he's using code effectively to communicate with the computer. Now, why have things changed so much? Things have changed because computers now speak the same language as us. And more specifically, they speak our language. We don't have to speak theirs. So if we look at an example that's very recent from a couple of days ago, like I said, I'm not good at this stuff, so I thought I'd enlist the help of AI to get this done. So ChatGPT from OpenAI, who are a leading open source AI company. I opened this up and I said to them, I need an introduction paragraph for a morning speech on marketing predictions. Pretend I'm typing this live. For 2023, it's in Dubai, and it's for the wonderful campaign Middle East Magazine. This was real. A couple of seconds, AI thinks about this, and I've spoken to it in clear English, and it said, "Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today to talk about marketing predictions for 2023. As we all know, Dubai is a growing hub for business and tourism, and the field of marketing is no exception. In the coming year, we can expect to see exciting developments and new trends in the world of marketing, particularly here in the Middle East. As we look ahead to 23, it's important for us to stay on top of these trends and to continue to adapt and innovate in order to stay ahead of the curve. In this talk, I'll be sharing some of my predictions for the coming year, and I hope that you'll find them informative and thought-provoking." Okay, so pretty incredible stuff. I don't know if I still need to be up here, but for those of you that aren't super clear how this works, we're going to jump into the classroom very, very, very quickly, so just bear with me. Simple. The reason that I can speak to the computer like that and it can give me a pretty well thought through answer to present to you guys is obviously it's powered by AI, artificial intelligence. And one of the components of artificial intelligence, something called NLP, or natural language processing, and this is a catch-all term for a number of elements that make it possible for a computer to read, determine the English language, and then to offer up answers. This is underpinned as well by something called NLU, so natural language understanding, and this is the ability to take our language and make it readable for the computer so that it can then converse with us based on everything it knows. Now, OpenAI, who I just mentioned, these guys are leading in this space. It's an open source AI platform, and they're really at the vanguard. And they've taken this on even further with something called large language models. Now, these are kind of tens of gigabytes AI tools, and again, there are a suite of them that enable what we've just seen. That's the bit that enables computers to then come up with thoughts, to offer opinions, and to give English language responses. So knowing all that, now that we can speak in our language with computers, AI as we know it is about to transform dramatically, and it's going to have a profound effect on our lives, on our consumers' lives, on our brands, and on our businesses. And it's going to do this across 5 areas. So the areas of voice, image, platform, creativity, and even how we see reality itself. Okay? So we're going to touch on these 5 areas quickly. Want you to keep a question in mind when we do this. The question is simply, what should we do about it? And even more than that, where do we fit into this new AI-enabled world? So starting with image, this is an AI-generated image. Okay, so it's a sort of Spanish Velasquez-esque hellscape that involves some of our clients, so McDonald's, Pepsi, Coca-Cola. But it's kind of really beautiful, and this is enabled because someone can just type in the English language what they'd like to generate. I'm sure some of you have been having lots of fun with this. I know a couple of people in the audience who've really got involved, and they're sharing on Instagram their designs. So we're going to have another video just to understand how this works and how simple it is. Before we do, I'm just going to draw attention to the fact that 2 of the leading companies in this space, again, it's OpenAI with their DALL-E 2, a quick pun there, and also Midjourney. And the implications for us as an industry is that imagine clients working with your creative agencies, you can get to this kind of conceptualization and alignment on an idea in seconds. And then you can spend the rest of the time finessing, working out how to make it even better. In terms of skill sets, the creatives are fantastic, but they'll have to become even more fluent in AI conversation. And yes, it's English, but I think we all know that even the way you search on Google, still English, but you can get better at it. So it's another skill that people have to develop. It's a quick video.
This is a box, a magical box. This box can make any idea real.
It's not just static images, it's moving images as well, and this is available today. You can go on and you can start playing around with this, so hopefully you can see some of the impact of that. In terms of voice, there's something that's been big in the rest of the world for a little while, but everyone familiar with Amazon Alexa, Google Home. We've actually had a pretty low uptake in the region. It's only been about 6%, and the reason behind this is that they don't speak Arabic. But those large language models I spoke to you about, they're very much just nearly there in being able to have an Arabic large language model. So the explosion of voice and interaction with these devices, we expect to see that go up considerably. So again, the companies leading in this space, you've got Google, you've got Amazon, Apple with Siri deserves a mention, and I think there will be other applications of this as well. In terms of implications, branded skills, particularly ones with utility, so imagine a food brand with a recipe app that people can use in the kitchen, keep their hands free. That could be really, really impactful. So in terms of skills for our people, we need to start thinking about how we can code for voice, about how we can design around VPAs. We need to understand the algorithms and how devices talk to our brands in this space. In terms of platforms, this is transforming how we do our work, okay? So I think I'm going to give a shout out to some people that are going to talk later, but company leading in this space, Pixis. And when I talk about platforms, I'm talking about biddable media, so the Facebooks, the Googles, Snapchats, etc. So optimizing these campaigns, millions of lines of code, okay? So AI can do in seconds what honestly it would take a human months and months to achieve. AI can eat this computational dog work for breakfast. It enjoys it. It's not something we're good at, it's something AI is good at, okay? So in terms of implications for us, we don't have to spend as much time doing that kind of boring executional work. We can start thinking bigger picture strategy and making sure that we're setting up much better campaigns. So in terms of our people, all of our digital experts, all of our doers, we need to make sure that they're upskilled even further to think strategic big picture and let companies like Pixis do the legwork. And creativity. It's even having an impact here. We don't want to replace Dale Bernbach. We don't want to replace creatives. But AI is now, through one of our tools, Omni Creative Machine Learning, we're able to use AI to optimize every single aspect of an advert. So the color, the text, the call to action, the image. Does it work better with a big car, a small car? Does it work better if we've got the fries next to the Coke? Do we want the burger next to the fries? So all of this can be done through AI. Again, giving time for our people to really think about that creative big picture. And this is where it gets really scary, because it's also starting to mess with our very concept of reality. So we're already familiar with the spread of disinformation, of fake news, but AI is powering deepfake technology, which means it's going to become even harder to tell apart what is truth what is lies, what is fact, and what is fiction. So we'll be able to create videos of Obama saying everything I'm saying here now, and it would look very believable. This has lots of implications, and I haven't had time to go into all of them, but I think from terms of our audience, we need to think even more carefully about brand safety, how we're really vigilant in this space, so using AI tech-enabled partners like DoubleVerify, IAS, Moat, etc., but also thinking about how our people are able to work better at curating content and having editorial integrity so that your brands only appear in a safe environment. So 5 fairly profound applications of AI that are already here, but they're going to have an even bigger impact in the next year or two. And it does beg a question of, do we still need all of us lot? Or could we be on the beach somewhere while AI gets on and runs our lives for us? I think we probably think that won't happen, unfortunately, the beach bit anyway. For anyone who's seen the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory film, the Tim Burton one, there's a really heartbreaking moment where Charlie Bucket's dad, Mr. Bucket, has worked at the toothpaste factory all his life, and he gets made redundant when an AI robot comes in, takes his job. Because he's quicker, he's more efficient, he's cheaper, he's probably not unionized. So it does ask a big question about whether we still need us. Are we going to become obsolete? Are we going the same way as the landline and good manners? I think before we get too dystopian and worried, I want to just touch on another AI story. This one goes a lot further back. So again, AI is very popular at the moment, but it's been talked about for 40, 50, 60, 70 years now. So back in 1996, Garry Kasparov, Russian grand chess master, the greatest chess master on the planet, probably the greatest that's ever lived. He had a chess battle, 6 matches, against a computer called Deep Blue. So Deep Blue was AI programmed by IBM. And Kasparov actually won this 4-1. The human beat the computer, even though the computer was capable of considering millions and millions and millions of variations of moves, much more than he did. But it was the 5th game that, for me, that was really interesting. So midway through the game, it's fairly even. And Kasparov suddenly changes strategy. He plays a completely unexpected move. It's actually a really bad move. But this completely flummoxes Deep Blue, who's not been trained to expect something so unpredictable. So this pivot in strategy frazzles its chipboards, and Deep Blue resigns on the spot. And this is, I think, the yin to the yang of artificial intelligence, and it's something I quite like thinking of as authentic stupidity. So obviously Kasparov's not a stupid man, but he plays a stupid move on purpose and with authenticity. It's a very human trait, and that's how he manages to defeat AI. So I don't think we're done for just yet. I spoke to you at the beginning about being irrational, about being unpredictable, emotional, biased, and sentimental. I actually think these are strengths, particularly in our industry. It's our irrationality that makes us challenge the impossible and become more innovative. It's our unpredictability that makes us unexpected. It means we can surprise and delight and be different. We're emotional, but that translates as passion. We get really passionate about ideas. We get passionate about our people. And yes, we're biased. And it's good to be aware of those biases, but that's also because we're experts in things. There are things that we prefer, and we get really deep understandings of these subjects, understanding all the nuance and the context in a way that AI never really can at the moment. And you probably noticed I'm a bit of a sentimental old fool, but that also comes from a place of empathy and compassion. And these are traits that are very, very human, but they give us a real edge over our computer friends. So for those of you that are familiar with Alan Turing and cracking the Enigma code, there's something called the Turing test, and this is known as the imitation game. Can computers, through AI, ever imitate humans enough that in a blind test they would be mistaken for humans? So there have been some controversial claims, but we don't think we're there yet. But in talking about imitation, the mistake we would make is to try to imitate computers. Let them imitate us. What we should do instead is focus not on what we can't compete with them at. Let them do all of the number crunching, all of the big data work. We need to focus on what makes us human. So it's those very qualities that make us human that we just touched on that give us a USP, give us a reason to be here, keep us in the game, keep our jobs. So at PhD, we recently wrote a book called Shift, a marketing rethink, and it really is about how you reorient your organizations for the world as it's changing post-pandemic and into an AI and tech-enabled world. And we really understand that people remain at the heart of that. We call it a people-shaped future, and how we create environments and nurture our people to get the best of technology and not the other way around. Thomas Friedman's political scientist, we quote him in the book, he talks about machines that can be programmed to do the next thing, but only we can do it, which could include programming the computers. So there's still very much a role for us. So how does it come together? How would you make these two come together in harmony? It really is that. It's about getting the best from each side. So you can see how AI could help you in a creative level with the conceptualization piece. If you want to say, look, I want to see a Nissan Patrol on the moon and Rihanna's there, AI can generate that image in seconds, and then you can really start to have the conversation with your brilliant brand guardians at agencies about whether that's a good idea or not, or whether it should be Beyoncé, or whether it should be Mars. Okay, but that's where the originality, computation, let's let them do the dog work. AI can run all the code, crunch the numbers, can produce evidence in beautiful dashboards and charts, and it can optimize at scale in the way we've seen with the Pixis example. Bring in the humans, and like I was saying, we bring the originality, we've got the imagination, that's the piece that computers are not so good at yet. We've got critical thinking. They crunch the numbers, we have an analytical point of view on it, and that's where we're going to add value. They can provide the evidence, but we're the ones that have to provide the leadership. We have to make the decisions quickly based on the available evidence surfaced by AI. We also have to be empathetic and compassionate leaders, particularly when we work cross-border now or in a virtual world more and more. It becomes more, not less, important to have that human connection. And lastly, they're talking about optimization. Let's be Kasparov and focus on the big strategies. So some good news. I'm nearly out of time and I'm nearly gone. At the end of the film, I told you there's some spoilers. Mr. Bucket gets a new job. It's a better job, and he's the supervisor of the AI robot arm because it keeps breaking down and it needs guidance. And I feel like, at the risk of being a sort of Panglossian optimist, this is what we face in our new world with AI. Back very quickly to our two chaps. Kasparov, the year later, they reprogrammed Deep Blue, 1997, and it destroyed Garry Kasparov. It was too good this time, it beat him heavily. But this didn't make him bitter. And years later, he said, what we need is better humans, not less technology. So how do we focus on being more human, not less so? And Mr. Wonka himself said, there is no life I know that compares with pure imagination. And that, if anything, is the most true human trait that we have. So I'll leave you with this. AI is not here to take our jobs. It's here to liberate us by making us more and not less human.